Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review. I'm here today to talk about Black History Month, the month that is a celebration of my people, because I am a black man and everything. And it's about all our accomplishments, all the oppression that we have gone through over like centuries of living in like America and stuff like that. So I'm here today to talk to you about Sister Sister Season 2 Episode 18, Single White Teenager. So, this is a very problematic episode. It's an episode that has not aged well for two main reasons. And you'll never ever see an episode like this in modern time unless it's probably Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder and stuff. So this episode deals with blackface. And this came out in the 90s on ABC of all things, where comedy was a bit different back in the 90s and stuff. Now, I love Sister Sister. It's one of my favorite shows. I own it on DVD. But I actually forgot about this episode until I was on YouTube and somebody's video just popped up and they started talking about this episode. And then the moment I saw the thumbnail, all these memories started to come back with the frog and, like the cultural inappropriation, except for the old couple. I completely forgot about them until I started rewatching the episode. I'm like, man, I remember that old couple. Now, here's the thing about this episode, right? It deals with some very important stuff you ain't supposed to do. And because this is a sitcom, they kind of just chuck it up all for laughs, right? But here's the thing. There's two major things that are totally wrong with this episode. There's one that is addressed. There's a second one that's hinted at but never addressed. And yet somehow the writers manage to make the two biracial black twins out to be like the villain. Make them out to be the ones that are the ones with the problems. It's all their fault. That's 90s for you. This kind of reminds me, I think, what was it, last year I reviewed Flashpoint, that one cop episode where the white cop shoots that black kid, and then the ending was the one thing that screwed that entire episode up. And it's just kind of like, why do writers do that? So going into this or re-going into this, I was curious, like, who exactly wrote this episode? Like, was it your typical Hollywood where it's a white person and they bring in like a black topic, but they don't know how to address it? And like, so they kind of screw it up a little bit. Well, I was actually surprised to see that it was actually the two co-creators of the show that wrote this, along with a third person. Kim Bass is the black man, Gary Gilbert is the white dude, and as for Fred Shadowman, I think that's his name, I can't remember, like I'm away from the computer, but I think it's Shuffleman or Shadowman or something like that. I have no idea what that dude looks like. I can't even find a picture of him online. So, it's kind of odd that, the black writer didn't fully address this. They hinted at it, but they didn't fully, address it. Now, remember, I don't know if it was the creators or one of the executive producers, but it was somebody who worked on this show that told the twins, hey, we need y'all to straighten y'all hair so you look more like the other girls on ABC sitcoms. And of course, ABC sitcoms were predominantly white. The only other black ABC show I could think of around in the 90s was Family Matters. And so, they told the girls, hey, we need you to straighten your curly hair. So they straightened their curly hair. By, I think, the fourth season or something like that, And Tia spoke out about this, about how, like, she didn't want to do that, and she felt like, it is robbing them of their blackness and stuff like that, because, they had curly hair. And I've never heard Tamara talk about this. I don't ever hear Tamara talk nothing about, like, racism or, like, feeling bad as a black person. You always hear Tia talk about it, but never Tamara for some reason. I wonder if those rumors are true. Anyways, so clearly, there was stuff going on behind the scenes at the show, similar to Boy Meets World with the Angela character. And, this is exactly why in modern day television, you get episodes that are considered quote unquote woke and everything. While you'll get an episode where you'll see like a black character out of like nowhere talk about how they've been mistreated by like a white person, and it's literally just a conversation that just comes completely out of nowhere, and then there's like a pause, and then you look at that person and it's kind of like awkward and stuff. Or you have an episode where a white cop shoots a black kid, and it's like a full episode devoted to that. And it's because of episodes like this, episodes that clearly deal with cultural inappropriation, but they don't go there and tell you. They hint at it and hope you will get it in your head. The problem is Hollywood forgets that people are stupid, and stupid people just don't get it in their head. So it literally has to be told to them because people are simple-minded. Hey, it's all right, And, but it's the truth. There are a lot of simple-minded people who just don't get it. Problem is, because it was written so awkward in modern day television, it comes off as cringy. Even some people of color feel it's cringy and stuff. There are times I feel it's cringy, and there are times I feel it's important. But not to the racists and everything. The racists, they hate it. And they all like, what's this woke stuff in our show? Like, we don't want to hear about this. Stop, like, pushing your agenda down our throat. Stop with the cultural messaging and everything. Just tell a story and everything. Blah, 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 blah. See, it's those ignorant people who don't want to know, who don't want to learn, and don't want to feel bad because they realize, hey, I'm part of the problem and everything. Or I don't want to feel bad what my ancestors did to you, so I'm going to pretend like it never happened. And this is when, like, you get more like, cultural awareness type episodes. But, what exactly happened in this episode that made it to where it has not aged well, other than the fact that it's blackface and everything? There was no teaching lesson. There was no mention of what she did was completely jacked up. She basically, like this one character basically went like Rachel Dolezal, whatever her name is, and everything. And, it's kind of a little bit like, the Vanilla Ice thing. He was a plant in the rap like genre. And, he dressed like the way black dudes did back then. He wore his hair like that. He rapped. And it didn't feel as genuine as, say, Eminem. And because, even Vanilla Ice had said, it was all fake and everything. And so, first I'm going to run down what the actual episode is about and then address the problematic problems. First, the B story, dealing with that of Ray and crap, what's her name? Lisa, that's it. Man, it's been a long time since I actually watched this show. You know what I'm saying? And so they're dealing with a neighborhood break-in and stuff. There's this cute little old couple, and like their house got broken into, so they do like a neighborhood watch. And so as they're out patrolling, it turns out that the sweet little old couple are the ones breaking into people's houses. And when they got caught, the craziest thing happened. They started doing acrobatics. Just flipping on out of there. I miss the 90s so much. And oh man, rest in peace, this like old couple, cause yeah, they died. The guy died in 2000, and the woman died in 2015. And I remember seeing the actress in plenty of stuff. She played Beverly's mom in Star Trek Next Generation. She was on Factor Fishing Beyond Belief. Clueless. She was in Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Boy, she was racking up those 90s credits and stuff. But yeah, sadly they are gone. So that's like the B plot of the show. Now we get into the A plot of the show. Oh, and she was also in the those two Sister Act movies as a nun. So Tia, she is sick and can't make it to school. And so when Tamara's at school, she's in her science class and she has to dissect a frog. Oh, I remember doing that. I did not want to do that. In middle school, I had my partner do it. It was a worm, actually. I did not want to dissect the worm. I was just so grossed out. And so, like, I had my partner do it. Then comes high school. I took some type of science class, and I did not know it dealt with constantly cutting animals open and stuff. And so my partner, for whatever reason, just decided she's done with school and did not show back up. I was left alone with no partner, and I had to dissect everything. The worm, the frog, whatever other thing they gave me. But thank God it wasn't a cat. Like my one elementary teacher who told us they had to dissect a cat probably back in, it was probably like the 70s or 80s or something like that. And the thing still had food in its stomach. Ugh. Anyways, so she meets this girl named Denise, and Denise is played by Anna Starkley. And this is Denise's first appearance. She'll have 12 more appearances on the show from the second and the third season. Then they completely just got rid of her. And so, like, we don't know nothing about Denise. And so her and Tamara, they completely hit it off. They're like, becoming really good friends. And it's really cool to see them interact. Then all of a sudden, like, Tia feels better. She goes back to school. And then Denise feels like a third wheel. She doesn't have a partner and she doesn't want to go back to her partner. But the thing is, when the twins open the door, Denise is dressed completely like them. Like the outfit, the curly hair, and just like, that one other YouTuber said, how the heck did she even know that, like, what the girls were gonna wear at school? Like, that's completely crazy. And speaking of fashion, man, I love everything about the 90s. I miss being young. I miss the music. I miss the food. I miss the clothes. I miss the TV shows and the movies and stuff. This is some great fashion right here. Look how cute the twins look in those outfits. Then they start to wear some other outfits that's like a plaid, like shirt. But then underneath it's like a plaid vest, but then they cut the top part or the bottom part off the vest, leaving only the top part. I've never seen anything like that. But boy, that's what I got. Like, Tia and Tamara Mori are just gorgeous and stuff. And so they go to school and, like, Denise like invites them to like home and everything. And so when they go to like her place, they go down in the basement and the mom is leading them there. And the mom is played by Mindy Sterling. You can only see part of her face, and I totally recognize her now. I had no idea that was her because back then I didn't know who she was. And so the girls are kind of creeped out and everything because they're all like, what if she's like going down the creepy basement, they're scared. But then they see it's just like a little rec center until they see a wall full of pictures with the twins. And it freaks them out. It's a literal collage. So then she comes in with like a knife and talking about, do you want some brownies and stuff like that. And so they're all like, no, you're like crazy and got all these pictures of us. And she's all like, well, you got pictures of your friends in your locker. So what's the difference here? So basically, they hurt her feelings and she makes them leave. Basically, telling them that, they're judgmental and stuff like that. Oh, also, I completely forgot. By this time, she's now doing blackface. Before, she just had like a curly wig. And now she's like doing blackface and stuff. And so when they go home, Lisa's talking to them, and Lisa's, basically is just like, putting on the guilt trip of being all like, like maybe y'all looked into this wrong and, you made that girl feel bad because, Denise mentioned and everything that like, um, she's the only child and all this other stuff. Oh, by the way, she's not even calling herself Denise no more. She's now calling herself Tanya to match with that of Tia, Tamara, and Tanya. So in a way, when they see her at school, she's back to looking white and her hair is straight, and she no longer wants to talk to them until they see the little frog they were supposed to dissect, because Tamara and Denise had let it free outside, and somehow it found its way back. And so that's basically just the gist of the episode. I mean, it's on Hulu, it's on DVD, you can find it on Daily Motion, you can find it pretty much anywhere. But what is so problematic about this other than just the blackface? Well, first things first, let's just get into the one thing they did address. Denise, now calling herself Tanya, is kind of crazy in the head. She's got those whole psycho vibes and everything. Basically, because she's like an only child and doesn't have nobody to hang with, she has now latched herself onto the twins. And she just didn't latch herself onto them. She has taken hundreds of pictures of them. But the thing is, where the heck did she get these pictures? Because the girls are literally posing in the pictures. So it makes you think she just hid behind like a bush and just started taking pictures of them. But, these are literally posed pictures and stuff. So the art department didn't really do a good job of like trying to figure out, did Denise find pictures of them like somewhere, like, and maybe in like Tia and Tamara's house and just stole them, or a yearbook or something like that. But most likely the logical solution is she took these pictures herself, and that is very creepy. That's a major red flag because she's becoming obsessed with them. We know she's obsessed with them because of the second reason this is creepy and problematic, because this is the thing they don't hint at. Her doing blackface. She is basically black fishing and everything. So the black fishing, first when she showed up at their house, she was dressed like them and she had a curly wig. Then a day later she shows up with her skin brown and everything and it's blackface. They never address this, but they hint at it. And basically when the twins see them, they're just shocked and surprised. When Lisa sees them, she's like, I could think Lisa was just like, ugh. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's just completely shocked by that. And when Ray sees her, he's all like, hey, sweetie. He's like, you're not my sweetie. Because he was about to kiss her and everything. So everybody mistook her for like a black girl and everything. And the thing is like, I don't blame the actress at all, because when you look at her resume, she doesn't have many acting credits. So she probably took on like, she probably landed this role knowing it's going to be a recurring character because, she's 13 episodes. She probably had no idea this episode was coming and stuff until she read it. This is all on the creators and the writers and stuff. And I don't blame her. Unlike Robert Downey Jr. Now, Robert Downey Jr. wasn't technically playing a black man. He was playing a delusional white man who was playing a black man in like a movie. The only problem I really have with that is Robert Downey Jr.'s ego of him saying he can basically play whatever character he wants in a movie or television show. Like, who cares and stuff. But anyways, this could have been a teaching lesson for sure, about what to do and what not to do and how far you actually take it. See, After she did blackface and everything, they asked you like, "What's wrong with your face?" Like they didn't even say, "Why are you brown?" or "Why did you put makeup on?" She's all like, "I tanned myself and everything," and they never once addressed why are you trying to look black, and more importantly, why are you trying to look like us? Then when Tia came back to school, they told her you can be partners with your old partner. But then she said, "I don't look like my partner and stuff," which is funny because when we see her partner and later on in the episode, her partner is black. So technically, she does look kind of like her. And then, so back to the reason why Denise does this is because she says, she doesn't have any brothers or sisters. I'm assuming she don't have any friends because you never see her hang out with nobody. And she really liked the vibe of like the twins and wanted to dress like them to fit in more. And the thing is with that is, like I said before, this could have been a teaching lesson because she took her love for the twins a bit too far. Similar to how some people take their love of black culture a little bit too far. Like Eminem and I guess we can go with Rachel Dolezal, right? Eminem, we know, grew up in a black neighborhood. He grew up in a poor black neighborhood, and he was surrounded by people listening to rap music. Because of that, he grew an appreciation to that of hip hop music and rap. And so he decided, you know what, I like this music, I'm vibing with it, I want to try it out, I'm pretty good at it, I want to make a career out of it. Never, ever, 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 ever once did he tan himself. Never did he paint his skin brown. Never did he wear a black hairstyle. He just looked like his typical white self. Now, he probably dressed a bit urban black, you know what I'm saying? With like, the baggier clothes, the more like street clothes and stuff like that. But other than that, he was still a white boy and everything. Unlike what Vanilla Ice did with changing his hair, changing his clothes, and stuff like that. Now, Rachel Dolezal, on the other hand, is a white woman who pretends to be black. If you ask her, "Hey, what's your race?" she will say black. People did not know she was black. She was part of the, what was it? The NAP something. No, NACP. Crap. It's that one black organization. She was like the president of something. Then it got revealed she's white and she lost her job because of it. She was married to a black man, and now I believe they're no longer married because nobody knew what she was. When you look at her, she looks like a biracial black woman with light skin. She has the black hairstyle, she has the black tan paint, whatever you want to call it and stuff. She literally goes for black, and she literally thinks she is. She won't even admit she's white. Even when she got caught, she still will not admit it. She clearly loves black people. She clearly loves the culture of black people, but she took it too far by trying to act that way. It's also similar to that Bad Baby Danielle Bagoli girl. She's Italian, but she loves black culture. She loves black dudes. She wears her hair black. She hangs out with tons of black folks. She raps. She uses the N-word and everything. It's similar to Sky Frank. If you don't know who Sky Frank is the daughter of Jason David Frank, the Green Mighty Morphin Power Ranger who took his life a few years ago. His older daughter, Sky, she wears a black hairstyle, she raps, she wears like ghetto clothing, she hangs out with tons of black people. The only difference between her and, say, like Rachel, is that Sky actually grew up in the ghetto. She didn't have much contact with her father, and she lived with her mom in a poor neighborhood, surrounded by tons of black people and stuff. But she takes it too far when she stylizes her hair to look like black folks, similar to what Danielle Bergoli does and everything. And it's now even to the point where her younger half sister tries to emulate her, and she has called her sister out on this, saying, "You never grew up in the hood. You grew up in the like a rich white neighborhood, and now you're trying to be like me." Which, of course, Sky is trying to be black. And this is when you take it too far, because now even Sky, she doesn't have like dark brown skin, but she has like a tan to where when you look at her, she looks like she's probably like Italian or something like that. And so it's one thing to love one's culture, you know what I'm saying? But it's another thing to completely transform your look to be that culture and to like talk like them. Like, I haven't seen too many interviews with Eminem, but for the most part, he sounds like just a normal guy and everything. And he doesn't try to talk black. He doesn't try to sound urban. He doesn't try to use too many slang terms. He knows exactly what he is. Just like in that 8 Mile movie, he says, he's a white boy and everything. Like he knows that, like, when he wakes up in the morning and when he goes to sleep at night. But some of these other people, when they wake up in the morning and they go to sleep at night, they think they're black and everything. Ariana Grande is another person. Ariana Grande has been literally every race you can think of. Sometimes she wants to be white. Sometimes she wants to be black. Sometimes she wants to be Latina. And sometimes she wants to be Asian. But she's actually like an Italian girl. And, and it's really irritating because, see, when they dress like another race, they respect that race. They don't disrespect it. But the problem is their culture, their race will sometimes praise them for what they're doing and how they look. So it's weird when you have the white community will praise a white person who, say, is taking on like a black stereotypical, like, vibe or whatever. But then they completely diss an actual black person for doing the same thing when it's actually their culture. They look down on rap music until a white person is doing it. They look down on black hairstyles until a white person is doing it. They look down on black clothing until a white person does it. And so on and so on and so on. It's weird. Like, it's just weird, you know what I'm saying? Or like rock and roll and country music. They all like, they tell black people, you can't do that. That's our music. We created that first. Do your history and everything. And so, like, I wish the show would have addressed that, because, like, they didn't even like mention it. They didn't even like, they showed it, but they didn't explain it. They didn't explain it to the simple-minded people, saying like, hey, this is a culture we came up with, and we worked hard to have our own identity, and here you are stealing it once again. And they didn't do that. Instead, it was chucked up for laughs and everything. And what made it worse is that they blamed it on the actual black characters in the show. They somehow flipped it to where Tia and Tamara are in the wrong for judging Denise for looking the way she does, because we're supposed to feel sorry for her because she doesn't have no brothers and sisters. And, and when she sees somebody she likes and wants to look like them, and the girls did not like that because they felt she was stealing their identity, we're supposed to look down on them. And it's one thing for the Denise character to do it, because that's typical, because she's the one doing it. But when Lisa got on to the girls for, like, how they treated Denise, That was the biggest problem in the entirety of the show. And Lisa even pointed out, if you really want to call yourself Tanya, you should call yourself La Tanya to be black and everything. And it's like, so clearly Lisa figured out what the girl is doing, but then she still made the twins, feel like crap and everything. Because you can't blame the white person, you gotta blame the black people. That's how Hollywood is back in like the 90s and stuff. And it was frustrating seeing that now, because back when I watched it, growing up, I didn't think much of it. All I saw was a white girl trying to look black, but in my head, I had no idea that is wrong and stuff. It's kind of similar also to what I think of her last name, Gwen Stefani. I keep forgetting her last name. Kept trying to look Asian and everything, and people got on to her about that and everything. And it's because, she says she has a big appreciation for that culture. That's great. You don't gotta look it and everything. I have a friend that's kind of similar. He has an appreciation for Japanese culture, but he doesn't dress like it. He knows the language. He's been over there. And we talked about this. I told him, Gwen Stefani literally thinks, like she says, she feels like she's Japanese because she appropriates more with that culture than, I guess, not even so much her own race, because look at her now. She's like country hillbilly now. And so and he's all like, oh yeah, that's totally okay if she's fish hooking because I understand where she comes from. But I'm thinking in my head, no, you're not Japanese and neither is she. Y'all are white. Y'all were born in America. And just because y'all like anime and stuff like that, don't mean you know everything there is to know about Japanese and Japanese culture and stuff. And it's literally stealing one's identity. And we all know they've literally stolen everything. I mean, everything from just about every culture you can think of. The ukulele, what was it? Is it the ukulele or the banjo? It's the only American-made instrument. And one of those two was made by a black person when they started doing country music. And look who took over it now. Do you see any black people with a banjo? I don't. And stuff. Because it's literally been stripped from our culture to where we don't even accept it no more. Same thing with country and rock and roll music and stuff. And so I really wish this episode could have delved into it more and explained to Denise, hey, look, man, what you did was wrong. And just because you like us and the way we look does not mean you get to steal our culture and stuff like that. And it's just so odd, that there are some people who are literally like that and stuff, And it's to where they literally think they're other races and stuff. Happy Black History Month, everybody. I'll talk to you later. Bye.